Hello number ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today we are talking about the pyramids and the alleged findings of the structures under the pyramids again, but with a twist. Now, as you know, I have talked a little bit about Graham Hancock on my videos before, but today apparently on this channel before school he was invited as a guest, and it appears that Mr. Hancock has actually weighed in on these alleged massive pyramid discoveries. For those of you who are not aware of what I'm talking about, I've already made several videos on this alleged discovery by this team of Italian people. I'm not going to say scientists, sorry, at least two of them. But anyways, I made many videos and I'll put a full amount of links down below. Test me. See if I forgot. But yes, the idea is that these Italian researchers, if we want to use that term very loosely, made a massive 4-hour conference in Italian, which I translated and mostly provided commentary on as a native Italian speaker, and presented some findings achieved through SAR technology, specifically using a new technique developed by the gentleman in the middle here, who is the only actual scientist in the group, and his name is Filippo Biondi. And according to these findings, in theory, they would have found massive, huge structures under the pyramids. We are, of course, talking about the main pyramids on the Giza plateau, and long shafts or pillars that, in theory, go down 648 meters under the earth and then all the way down to 2 kilometers under the ground. And of course, they have connected these to halls of Amenti. Some of them we may talk about power structures. There is a lot of alien talk in the discussion, not in the conference proper, although they did show a reptilian at one point. But in general, when it comes to at least two of the people involved in this project. With that being said, I'm very curious to see what Mr. Hancock has to say. Let's check it out. As always, link in the description, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.
Well, I'm so encouraged by this new technology of LiDAR and Doppler that we're able to investigate these sites without really damaging them at all, right?
Yeah. This is certainly the case. Certainly the case with lidar, and you know we're seeing very interesting results from satellite scans, which much more work needs to be done before there's any certainty about those results. But they're extremely interesting right now.
So I guess I've got to bring
certainty about those results, but they're extremely interesting right now.
Okay, well, good. At least he's not, because some of the people, particularly on TikTok, are already claiming that this is like, oh my gosh, incredible, amazing, the aliens and this and that, and ancient technology. At least he's being rational in the sense that he's saying it's a little soon, but it is interesting. I mean, it is an intriguing possibility, although then again, the people that don't intrigue me are the people involved with it.
So I guess I've got to bring up the million-dollar topic. There was a discovery underneath Egypt recently, and that's gone completely viral. There's a lot of sensational takes out.
He must have a problem with his, sorry to interrupt him, but he must have a problem. I'm only getting left side audio from him, so it's not a problem on my side, it's a problem on his side of the recording. Let me see if he addressed it in the comments. No, he didn't. Oh well, let's continue.
There, and I don't think I've heard you publicly say anything about this discovery.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I
Really?
have probably said something.
Oh, good.
I'm going to tell you about it. Just a moment.
Because I remember being at your event, everybody was asking you about it, and you were, this was like a month ago, you were cautious to talk about it then.
I said, look at my blog. So what I said...
Good, yes. So I did look at his blog, 17th of April. I remember someone writing for him. There we go.
In my blog on the 17th of April was that for those who've asked, I'm far from ready to take a position on the recent claims of underground structures detected beneath the Khafre pyramid at Giza. I'm not even sitting on the fence because there isn't a fence to sit on yet.
Right.
Much more work needs to be done. What is clear, however, is that critics of Filippo Biondi's findings have misunderstood the potential of the method used and have been too hasty in dismissing it. In my opinion, the importance of Biondi's work is not that it proves anything at this stage, but that it should act as a spur for further research.
I'm okay with that. Generally speaking, I have been very critical of this discovery. And I put it in quotes. But if there is one person that I'm willing to at least listen to, I'm willing to listen to with an open mind and a certain healthy amount of skepticism at the same time, but I'm not going to immediately disregard is Filippo Biondi. So at least he's being very cautious in only mentioning him, even though this is a three-men project, the other two people being Corrado Malanga and Armando May. I'm very curious to see if he mentions them, because some of the stuff that they have said is absolutely ridiculous. However, Filippo Biondi has stayed a lot more. He has remained within the rails of science, which is why I'm happy to listen to him, rather than go into science fiction like the other two. So already, good beginning.
Which I have reason to believe will soon follow. So I could read more of it, but it's on my website, it's in my blog, and that is my statement of position. I don't know enough about the technology, but I have been working with a number of other people who know a lot more about it than I do. And it's beginning to be clear that the massive, instant, allergic reaction of dismissal that came from all the usual skeptics about the Filippo Biondi's work, that instant rejection, that instant hostility, that instant sneering was yet another example of premature rejection in science.
No, Mr. Hancock, I disagree with that. I think you're not looking at... I understand that probably he's saying this because he's used to having had a lot of rejection from the mainstream academia, so he's already a little bit with his hand. When he sees rejection, he immediately puts his hand forward. I understand that. With that being said, I think, Mr. Hancock, if you watch this, you're missing the broader picture here. Because the reason why, for example, people like me, and I'm very open-minded towards any sort of claim, but even people like me have been extremely skeptic about this, is not because of Filippo Biondi's science or new technique. Even though examples that he has provided, I don't think were sufficient to prove it without a shade of a doubt, which is what we need. That science need to be replicated and tested over and over. But the problem is not him. The problem are the other two. Because Armando May made statements about power plants and energy production underneath the pyramids. He said that the pyramids and the entirety of the Giza plateau does not belong to the Egyptians. He said that there is a new dating. I mean, we know that, as far as I understand, Mr. Hancock, correct me if I'm wrong, is of the persuasion of someone like Philippe Bouvel, who redates the Giza plateau, in my understanding, to 10,000 BC. Well, when it comes, that's already highly debated within academia, because academia firmly dates the Giza plateau to 5,000 years ago, so it's kind of a doubling of that. But Armando May just broke all hell loose when he dated it to 36,400 years ago without providing any academic archaeological explanation or backing to it. Nothing. He didn't provide anything, and I listened to the guy in Italian. He just said it because he liked the number. And talking about numbers, there are quite a few things that Armando May said during the presentation that were supposed to create the historical justification of the claim that there is a whole halls of Amenti and an entire city underneath the pyramids. And I was willing to listen to those. But then he started talking about how a bunch of numerology stuff and how the number of columns 30,000 years ago were made the exact same number because it was number 16, so that he would read 6 plus 1 equals 7, and that one multiplied by whatever the heck comes up with this number, and this number was made there, left by, I don't know at this point, either an ancient advanced civilization, similar to the one you believe in, or perhaps an alien civilization at this point, I don't know. I'll tell you why I'm thinking that there is an alien involved in there as well in a second. All of these aliens, these people, whether it be aliens or not, they decided a number of columns so that Armando May, him, would figure it out and calculate. Come on, it's a bunch of nonsense. He did a terrible job when it comes to that presentation. And then Corrado Malanga, the other guy, is infamous in Italy because of all of his ufology. And as I always say, if you believe in aliens, I have nothing against you. If you love following all the investigation and stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, what are they hiding from us? Great, I love it. I watch movies about it. I'm always entertained by the documentaries and stuff like that. It's cool stuff. I don't believe it. But as I say, that doesn't mean that I don't believe that aliens exist. I do think aliens exist. I just don't believe it when people just show me the first thing and just start talking aliens. But in general, normally I wouldn't have a problem with it, but because he's the leader of this project, Corrado Malanga. And the stuff he has said about aliens is absolutely insane. Like the giant crocodiles, I'll show a little bit here. I'll show some of that in a second. This is why people like me have been extremely skeptical about this whole discovery. So there is a reason.